Live from the KWQC Broadcast Center, this is TV6 News at 10.
Welcoming home our local heroes as the 30th honor flight of the Quad Cities returns tonight. The plane is on the ground and dozens are already gathering to say thank you.
I think it does set a precedent, and we're hoping other companies will open their eyes.
A victory for disabled drivers as a major chain vows to make their stores more accessible. A Decision 2014 tops your first 6 minutes. Good evening. I'm Brian Bozen.
And I'm Sharon DeRick. Gary will be joining us live from the Honor Flight Homecoming in just a little bit. Another
high-profile politician stumping for area candidates today. New Jersey Governor Chris Christie was in Burlington campaigning for Governor Terry Branstad.
And as KWQC's Mark Stevens reports, just 5 days from the election, candidates are making a final push to get out the vote.
This is the final push for Republican incumbent Governor Terry Branstad, and the reason he brought Governor Chris Christie here, his counterpart in New Jersey, is to not only help push him over the finish line, but to push the other Republican candidates in this area over the finish line as well.
I said, you know, I think we can beat Bruce Braley in that Senate race, but I think we might be able to even win his congressional seat. Would you come into that district? So he came in for Rod Blum.
When I talk to him and ask him what's going on in Iowa, he never talks about himself. He talks about the whole ticket.
Besides throwing political red meat out to get the crowd riled up, Christie was also saying that it takes teamwork, and that's a theme that both Branstad, Lieutenant Governor Kim Reynolds, and 3rd District Congressional candidate Mariannette Miller Meeks were saying. They need the voters to come out and send these Republican candidates to Congress, to Senate, and to the governor's office.
That is the essence of a true, experienced, seasoned, selfless leader. But it's not about him. It's about the people he's helping lead.
We are not slowing down. We cannot become complacent. We have to finish strong, and we need to go right across the finish line, and we absolutely need your help to get that done.
Now, Branstad's Democratic opponent, State Senator Jack Hatch, is also pushing through the state today. 6 stops today, ended in Iowa City. He's got 7 stops tomorrow, beginning in Keokuk. Reporting in Burlington, Mark Stevens, KWQC, TV6 News.
Another visit from First Lady Michelle Obama in town to support Democrats in Moline this Saturday. And yesterday, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton took to the podium for Bruce Braley in Davenport. Senator John McCain was in Wapello to support Joni Ernst.
Candidates in Iowa's 2nd District congressional race are busy on the campaign trail. Incumbent Democratic Congressman Dave Loebsack was in Muscatine today, touring the Muscatine Arts Center. And yesterday, his opponent, Republican Mariannette Miller Meeks, was in Davenport with the head of the National Republican Congressional Committee at a meet and greet with supporters. If you want to know more about any of these candidates, you can do some research and find voter information on our website. Just click the Decision 2014 icon that is there on our homepage. And tune in to TV6 for full election night coverage on November 4th. NBC will air an election special from 9 until 10. Then we'll have a special hour-long newscast with local Decision 2014 coverage.
Illinois Governor Pat Quinn was in Moline today announcing funding to speed up construction on the southern approach to the I-74 bridge. The $10 million comes from the Illinois Jobs Now Capital Construction Program, part of a 5-year plan. This lets the on-ramp on the Illinois side be built at the same time as the new bridge, rather than after the span is complete. Governor Quinn is running for re-election. Today, his Republican challenger, Bruce Rauner, attended a Chicago women's event to encourage voters to get to the polls. Women in the suburbs are considered a key swing vote. Both candidates have spent time there in recent weeks. Today, Rauner pledged to appoint, quote, many women to leadership roles if elected governor.
Well, we still have some cloud cover out across the area right now. Not very windy, but that will change tomorrow. All day of Halloween, it's going to be windy, it's going to be cool, and by the time we get to trick-or-treating time tomorrow evening, I should say, we'll see wind chills in the 20s. Right now, our temperatures look like this: 46 in the Quad Cities and Galena, 46 in Rock Falls and Muscatine, 43 in Galesburg, and 47 in Burlington. And we still have the clouds hanging on and a few areas of rain north of the Metro Quad Cities and south of the Metro Quad Cities, but it's pretty light. The clouds will hang on through much of the night. We'll clear toward morning as the winds start to pick up. We'll be at about 31 at 6 a.m. We only go for a high of 42 tomorrow. At least we get some sunshine back.
Thanks, Eric. And after a 48-day manhunt through the woods of rural Pennsylvania, U.S. Marshals say they've captured Eric Frayne. Frayne was found at an abandoned airfield in Tannersville, Pennsylvania. He was brought back to the state police barracks in Blooming Grove, where he was accused of shooting 2 state troopers in an ambush-style attack on September 12th. One of those, Corporal Brian Dixon, was killed.
A big victory for disabled drivers and those who want better accessibility at gas stations.
In a lawsuit settled in U.S. District Court in Davenport today, a major convenience store chain agrees to make changes. KWQC's Bailey Dietz is here. Bailey, advocates say that this really sets a precedent.
The class action suit against Come and Go stems from an ADA violations like inaccessible parking, ramps not done correctly, and drivers unable to get assistance from store clerks to pump gas. Now the company will have to make modifications at hundreds of locations in nearly a dozen states, and this could just be the start.
I don't know if it's really set in yet as to how big this really is.
Paving the way for change. For Gary McDermott and other disabled drivers, pain at the pump has a different meaning.
One day when I needed fuel, I went to 5 different Come and Go stations and couldn't get the attention of anybody inside to come out.
It was a pattern of that and several other issues that led him to file a class action suit against the convenience store chain, asking that the company follow laws already in place.
We didn't want them to do anything other than what's required of them.
Along with upgrades to structures, the company agreed to install call buttons like this, a reliable system for drivers in need of assistance to communicate with store clerks.
It's 11 states, 423 stores.
Come and Go started to make the changes even before the settlement was reached. It's going to cost the company millions altogether.
I think it does set a precedent, and we're hoping other companies will open their eyes and see that there's many drivers out there with disabilities that need the assistance.
McDermott says there are many more that have issues with ADA compliance, and he'll continue to work to bring those to light.
Maybe some of them aren't aware of some of their deficiencies, but they need to be aware of it.
For now, McDermott is just happy to see the start of change.
Come and Go, I have to say, came forward and went above and what they needed to do with the ADA. Others will follow.
In Davenport, Bailey Dietz, KWQC TV6 News.
We reached out to Come and Go, and a statement from the company reads in part, "We have invested and will continue to invest substantial sums to improve accessibility at our stores, and in some instances have agreed to offer accessibility options that exceed those required by law," end quote. You can read the company's full response on our website at kwqc.com. Dozens of area veterans are making their way home tonight after a very busy and very special day in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, it's one of our favorite events here at TV6, welcoming those veterans home from an honor flight. KWQC's Elizabeth Goodsett is live at the airport tonight, where, Elizabeth, I'm sure the crowds are just huge.
Well, absolutely, Sharon and Brian. Let me tell you, this is one of the community's favorite events, too. It's something the QCA does really well. And take a look, and you can see why. The crowd is already lining up here to welcome home their veterans, their families, friends, and neighbors who may not know anyone personally on the flight, but they are still here at the airport. They're holding signs, they're waving flags, and a show of support and respect for the men and the women who will be walking through this crowd. And I have a family here, part of the crowd right now, and we're going to ask a quick question because you all, 3 sisters here, waiting for who?
Waiting for my grandpa, Herb Tegler.
All right, and he is 93 years old and had a chance to go on this before, didn't do it, did it this time. What are you hoping he'll take away? Why did he want to go?
I think he finally had the time to go, and he was really looking forward to visiting with people who've been through the same experiences and could talk about it and enjoy what they have worked so hard for.
All right, thank you so much. And all of those people will be welcomed home by all of these people. Of course, the best part about it, these veterans say they love going to see the monuments, but they actually love this homecoming, possibly even more. We are reporting live here in Moline. Elizabeth Goodsett, KWQC TV6 News.
I know, I absolutely love the homecoming. It's my favorite part as well. And we do have team coverage tonight. KWQC's Gary Mativier has been in Washington, D.C. with the veterans all day, bringing us live updates from the trip for the very first time.
He joins us live now. And Gary, I'm sure that you're all very happy to be home now and ready to greet all those well-wishers that are inside.
No doubt about it, Brian and Sharon. This is the excitement, really, after the storm, if you will. As you see here, they are unloading from the airplane right now, and what's happening is they are lining up and getting a little refreshment, a little Whitey's ice cream. They'll welcome them home, and then they'll go home to this incredible welcome home tonight. You know, this has been a long day that we have been covering it live all day long. It's been fantastic. You would think these veterans would be exhausted, and I'm sure they are, but as they get off the plane here, they are eager to reunite with their families and friends to talk about all that they have seen on this incredible day. Many of the Guardians on this flight are Vietnam veterans, so you can imagine it's been a very emotional day for them as well, for everyone here, as this honor flight is home. We will also be recapping some of the exciting moments we have experienced today as we have gone live from Washington, D.C. We'll have that for you a little bit later in the newscast as they start making their way to the big welcome home tonight. Brian and Sharon, for now, back to you.
All right, Gary, and we'll be checking in with Gary and the Honor Flight Homecoming again later in this newscast. Still ahead at 10, Halloween gets started early tonight in Rock Island, where ghosts and ghouls gathered for Fright Night. We'll take a look.
And we'll need a few layers of insulation tomorrow night for trick-or-treating, as we have temperatures in the 30s and wind chills in the 20s. A far cry from 40s and 50s for highs today. We'll have the latest First Alert forecast coming your way next.
You're watching Gary Mativier and Sharon DeReek. This is KWQC TV6 News at 10. And now, the Quad City's most reliable forecast with Chief Meteorologist Eric Maitland.
Well, this evening, some clouds and a few raindrops, and temperatures in the 40s and 50s. A small price to pay compared to the fact that tomorrow night it will be very windy, very cold. Temperatures in the 30s for much of the trick-or-treat span of time, and wind chills in the 20s. It's really kind of sad to think that all those really neat little costumes are going to be covered up by winter coats. We still have a little bit of light rain across the area right now as we take a look at our live Doppler radar. To the north and west of the Quad Cities, just a few scattered light showers or sprinkles. The heavier rain off to the south and continuing to drop to the south and east, but still we've got a little bit of rain left over in Henderson County, and moving off toward the north, you start to see some raindrops in Muscatine County, also into Cedar County, Clinton County, Jackson County, and up toward Dubuque County. That's really the back edge of the rain right there. That'll continue to move to the south and east and be out of here in a couple of hours. How cold is it going to get? Well, we've actually got a freeze warning along and south of Highway 34 for tomorrow night. Here, lows go well down into the 20s as we kick off our Saturday morning. Right now, temperatures holding mainly in the 40s, 43 in Galesburg, 46 here in the Quad Cities. It's 48 in Savannah, 45 in Clinton, 49 in Iowa City, and 43 in Kewanee, with 45 in Princeton and 44 in Macomb. And take a look at the satellite image. That is snow in northern Wisconsin. This will actually get very close to the area, just a few flurries tomorrow morning. Hey, if you're headed to Chicago early, you might run into some of these. The cold front has passed us by. This snow gets into southern Wisconsin and northeast Iowa, or I should say Illinois. And as this cold front makes it a little farther to the south, the winds tomorrow come right from the north over Lake Michigan, southern Lake Michigan, looking at winds and waves that'll be in excess of 20 feet at times. So cloudy skies tonight. We'll eventually clear those clouds out by morning time, and we get the sun back, although we see a few flurries on the way to Chicago, especially if you're heading on Interstate 88 eastbound early tomorrow morning. We get into the sun, but it's going to be cold and windy. It'll be nicer on the warm side of the window, because outside we only see high temperatures in a lot of locations only in the 30s tomorrow and low 40s. 31 tonight, mostly cloudy skies now, go partly cloudy, a little bit more clearing toward morning, becoming windy toward morning as well, with north-northwest winds at about 10 to 25 and gusty. Tomorrow's high 42. That's it. Some areas will be limited to the 30s. It will be mostly sunny, but it's going to be windy and certainly cold. North winds at 20 to 30 and gusty. Take a look at our trick-or-treat forecast, and as we go through the evening, again, temperatures from about 5 o'clock on drop into the 30s. This is where our wind chills will be in the 20s. At least there won't be any rain or snow to worry about at those temperatures. We're at 44 again on Saturday. Saturday night, we fall back 51 on Sunday with more windy conditions, but those are mild winds. We get some rain on Monday and back to the middle 50s Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
I'm sure they were feeling a bit of a chill tonight when they were getting into the Halloween spirit in the district. Dozens out in downtown Rock Island looking for treats and showing off their costumes. Lots of superheroes and princesses out and about attending the annual Fright Night. Organizers say it's a fun and safe option for Halloween. This year's theme was Day of the Dead. Look at that. Ooh, there's a little scarier clown. The event has been going on now for more than a decade. And here's another live look from the 30th honor flight of the Quad Cities. Dozens of local veterans right now returning from a day in Washington, D.C. This is the 30th trip for the QCA. We'll have more when we come back.
You're watching Edward R. Murrow award-winning station, KWQC TV6.
Well, what a day it's been. Early this morning, dozens of local veterans gathered at the Quad Cities International Airport to board a plane headed to Washington, D.C.
Yeah, Honor Flight of the Quad Cities has allowed so many veterans to visit our nation's capital, a small way to honor their service. Tonight, we welcome them home.
Yes, we're happy to do so. Let's check in now with our live crews out of the airport. Gary, who's been with them all day.
Yep, Brian and Sharon, they are just now come in as you hear the crowd roar. Perfect timing. Our veterans are home. The Honor Flight Welcome Home has now officially begun. We'll have more live from the airport coming up a little bit later tonight at 10.
And it is indeed a hero's welcome out there. It's just our favorite part, seeing all those people with flags and signs welcoming home their grandparents or fathers or mothers or whatever. So we will definitely check back in with them in a little bit. But in the meantime, it was win or go home tonight for volleyball teams across the QCA. Coming up, see who's closing in on a trip to state.
You're watching sports with Joey Danya.
It's a good time to be a Bettendorf Bulldog. The football team is a perfect 10-0, and the volleyball team is unbeaten as well. 34 wins and 0 losses. Postseason play beginning tonight for the Bulldogs, and like they've done all season long, Bettendorf dominates. It's Megan Sharkey with the ace, sending the students into a frenzy. Later, Josie Erbst. Oh my gosh. The Bulldogs on cruise control. Addie Bailey with a kill of her own. And Bettendorf rolls to 35-0, 3-0 the final. And in Iowa City, the season comes to an end for Burlington and the Fighting Addie Olsons. Well, who needs Halloween candy when they're selling Freezy Pops at the concession stand in Pleasant Valley? Spartans hosting Dubuque Hempstead. Emma Wiggum, ooh, kill him. Later, it's Hannah Thompson with a kill of her own. Nice gnome. Later on, it's Kelly DeGeorge. That gnome is everywhere. She'll get up, and that's not coming back. PV is on to the regional finals. And elsewhere, West Falls at Cedar Rapids Prairie. Well, the DeWitt Sabres trying to cage the Wildcats from Davenport North. Amanda Brainerd putting Abigail Graw in position to succeed, and she does. DeWitt gets on the board first. Later in the opening set, it's Graw with an ace up her sleeve. Friendly roll helps it get over the net. Sabres building a double-digit lead. A few minutes later, Olivia Hawk keeps it alive, and Rachel Koff powers home another point. Sabres rattle the Wildcats, taking game one easily, and they're on their way. DeWitt wins it in a sweep. Elsewhere, Assumption falls at Marion. Other scores from Class 3A, Solon sweeps Northeast, and West Liberty sweeps Mid-Prairie. Well, a win tonight, and the Orion volleyball team would charge into a home match for sectionals, but first they had to win a virtual road game in Sherrard. You know, it's a big game when Gumby's in attendance. First set, Macy Hancock sets up Ashton Lee. She finds a hole. Orion up 22-13. He's the #1 fan. A couple volleys later, Hancock helps Taylor McCune earn another kill. She sends one to the corner. Orion takes game one, 25-14. In the second set, Chargers down 1. Senior Kate Conway throws a block party at the net. Chargers tie things up at 2. Sherrard then finds a 1-2-3 punch that'll work as Autumn Erickson digs Libby Fry, and Madison Dorbeck smashes. That was too hot to handle, but it wasn't enough as Orion earns the sweep, and they win the regional title 2-0. Farmington also takes down United tonight 2-1, and in an absolute shocker, Manuka bounces a great Rock Island team in 2 sets, 25-19 and 25-17. 1A regional championship at Rova. The Anawa Bravettes come out rolling in the opening set. That's Rachel Peterson setting Taylor Shaw for the kill in a tight match, but the Flying Geese live up to their name. Sam Culver sets Carissa Roman, the state high jump champion, gets up and puts one on the floor. Geese win game 125-15. Bravettes keep the pressure on in the second set. Peterson doing her job nicely again. Shaw finishing the deal, but Wethersfield scores 6 of the final 7 points to win 25-18, and they take the regional crown 2-0. In other regional finals tonight, Sterling Newman upends top-seeded Bureau Valley. Fulton falls to Dakota in 3. Galena sweeps River Ridge. Stockton loses to Freeport-Aquin. Lanark Eastland knocks out the Erie Cardinals. But Dixon captures the regional title for the first time since 2005. That's a look at sports. We'll be right back.
Well, yeah, not much to look forward to as far as Halloween is concerned. After clouds tonight, we'll get some sun back tomorrow, but it's going to be cold sun. High temperatures, upper 30s, low 40s, wind chills for trick-or-treating in the 20s, and looking toward next week a little better, back to the mid and upper 50s, at least upper 50s Monday with another chance of rain.
I'm afraid. I'm very afraid.
Yeah, it's pretty scary.
Yeah, already looking chilly.
Yeah, well, that is it for your news at 10. Your next news will be tomorrow morning at 4:30, but before we go tonight, we do want to check in one last time at the airport.
Absolutely. A great day out there at the Quad Cities Airport for the 30th honor flight of the Quad Cities. Gary?
All right, thank you very much. And from the send-off this morning to the adventures of all the monuments and memorials, these veterans have taken in so much today. Photographer Kevin Cord gives us just a glimpse of all this day has had to offer.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present the greatest generation, the Korean War vets and the veterans from Vietnam.
Well, I grew up in Moline, and there was a kid named Mike Warren, and he got killed in '68. So I came to see, his name on a wall.
Oh, you bring tears to my eyes. I think it's one of the most marvelous things that anybody has ever done.
Welcome to DC. Hi. Welcome to DC.
Well, I'm glad that I decided to go. And it's something I'll remember the rest of my life.
Our country is free because of you.
I'm just honored to be here. Really, these guys before us, the Vietnam, Korean, everybody who served in the military, DC's a great place to have them and bring them here. And the ones that haven't been to it, the honor flight gives them that opportunity.
In the packet. 30 in the packet. Herman, thanks for your service. Thanks for your help today. Thank you for your service. And what an amazing night. As you can hear, the celebration is continuing, and this will go on for the next 30 minutes and beyond as these veterans go home and start share their stories. About 18 hours ago, this airport started filling up with about 200 men and women, strangers then from all backgrounds, battlefields, and conflicts, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, and active service right now. All coming together for a tradition that has given thousands of Quad Cityans a trip of a lifetime. Tonight, the veterans and their guardians return as friends, brothers, and sisters. A new bond formed as they lived an extraordinary day together today that none of them will ever forget. Tonight, those 200 men and women return home with new memories to share, old stories to be told to the next generation, and you know what? A new family that will always be there for them. The Quad Cities has thanked them for their service with a gift like no other, an honor flight. We leave you tonight with the sights and sounds of honor flight number 30. Good night, Quad Cities.